Hello, welcome to the SolidXperts technical tip. My name is John Nolan, and today I will be showing you a couple of tips related to SolidWorks Composer, and we're actually going to pick up from where we left off last month. So here's the new SolidWorks Composer 2015. I'm going to go ahead and open that same file I was working with last month. Notice we've got our background image that I showed you tips for using as a illustration document and so forth. Here we're going to undo that. Go to Properties, Document Properties. On Viewport, it's the ground texture. And in this case, we're going to uncheck it. Notice it maintains the path, so we can in fact go back and reuse the same texture later. But today we want it off to get it out of our way. Now, these tips are related to both selecting items and transferring or transforming items. In Composer, the items are all called actors rather than components. And in fact, they can include all the item geometry components and a few of the actions and other things as well. So this first bit, I'm going to select on this top outer housing. Now this is actually a keyboard shortcut that's not so easily discovered. If I hit the left arrow key on my keyboard, notice it moves up the feature tree or the assembly tree. If I do it again, I actually get that entire subassembly that now I can readily shut off. And the same thing for any other plate. Again, it's the left arrow key, not the up key. Left arrow, and now I've got that entire subassembly that I can in fact shut off. So that's quite interesting. Now, one of the other choices is you may know that as you mouse over something and then hit the tab key, it'll temporarily hide it so you can select the item underneath. But again, as soon as you mouse away, it goes away. Now I could continue to check items on the tree, but another quick trip, if I right click on that item, this little icon with the X through the circle, that's the display off. It's the same thing as a check mark over in the assembly tree. And again, X off, and X off. And it's again on the right click toolbar that pops up. Now my next item is if I go back to our home and our select items, select instances. Now this perhaps is not terribly intuitive name, but if I select one item with that on, I'll turn it on again, it gets everything in the assembly tree of the same name and puts it together in one selection. Very nice. Now that I have that, I can in fact actually save it as a selection set. That's what this little icon here is, grouping in selection sets. And in this case, I'll just give it quickly a name. And now I have that as a group that I can readily select. It does in fact put it at the very bottom, or near the very bottom, of your assembly tree here. So now I'll reselect that. Now I'm going to do a transform. And this one's a little interesting as well. Here I'm going to choose spherical and part by part spherical. But it's not really important which one I do. I'm going to select just one click now on the arrow to give it direction. Then I'm going to right click so I can get my focus over here on my number. And now I can actually type in a known value and do the move that way. So if you happen to know exactly how far you want to move, rather than trying to use the little rulers on screen, again it's a click on the arrow direction, right click so you can move your mouse and get your focus over on your numeric value, and then type in the exact distance you want to go. And there you are. If you do make a mistake in any of that, restore neutral position brings you right back to where the items were when you opened the file originally. Now in this case, I've already got a selection set for one of the other items, and I'm going to turn both of those off. And again, use our right click, hide, right click, and then hide. And I'll turn that transform off to get some things out of our way here. Now the last little bit that I'll do here, and this one is kind of documented in the help and so forth, but I like to show it. I'm going to again do a translate. This time I'm just going to use the arrow and drag. And again, it doesn't matter which way the triad is pointing, just grab on the arrow and drag in the direction you really want to go in. And the same thing for this other item. This one is in fact pointing in the correct direction as far as the triad goes. Now I have those two roughly spaced where I want to go. Again, a similar trick. Copy transformation. Now what I'm going to do first is I'm going to use the Control key, just like you do in SolidWorks, to build up a set of items. So what I'm doing in this case is I want to have all those deflectors move the same distance as that original one. So now that I have them selected, copy transformation, and then select the item that you want to have that move translated with. So now it's as though I pulled them apart as a set. Again, the same thing here. It's the Control key to select multiple items on the graphics window while you're clicking. Copy transformation, mouse over and click on the item that you want to mimic the same transformation for, and there you are. Thank you for your time and attention, and hopefully you've enjoyed this SolidXperts technical tip.